Om Shanti. Today we shall be reading the Murli dated 30th of May 1974. In this Murli, Baba is bringing our attention towards becoming an ever-ready soul. He further on explains in this Murli what are the signs, what are the special signs of being an ever-ready soul, and how can we transform ourselves by surrendering our weakness to the Supreme Father. So let's read this Murli together. Title of the Murli is Constantly Cooperate with the Father and Be Ever Ready for Spiritual Service. Do you consider yourselves to be the warriors who are on the battlefield, equipped with all weapons, the ever ready and constantly victorious souls who put any type of order you receive into practice in a second? We'll revisit this question. It's a little longer question. Do you consider yourselves to be the warriors who are on the battlefield, equipped with all weapons, the ever ready and constantly victorious souls who put any type of order you receive into practice in a second? If you were now to receive the order to make your vision spiritual and divine in a second, vision in which there is not the slightest trace of arrogance of the body, not even in your thoughts, would you be able to make yourself become that? Or would you take time to become that? If instead of 1 second, you take 2 seconds, would you be called ever ready? If you receive the order that on the basis of your elevated awareness, you have to transform the awareness of all souls, would you be ever ready to do this? If you receive the order to transform the present atmosphere instantly with your godly awareness, would you be able to do that? If you receive the order to transform the circumstances of souls who are under the influence of their circumstances with your present stage of an almighty authority, would you be able to do that? If you receive the order to become a master creator and have got good wishes and pure feelings for your creation, to satisfy the needs of beggar souls according to their desires, and to become a great donor and a bestower of blessings, would you be able to make everyone content? Or would some be content and some be deprived? Do you experience yourself to be overflowing with the treasure store of all powers? Do you constantly have all the weapons in your hands? So what are the spiritual weapons that we need to reflect on these questions? The powers that we receive, the knowledge that we receive, the values and virtues that we have received, the sustenance from the Father, the teacher and the Sadguru, are we applying them and being the embodiment of that and bringing the presence of the Almighty through I being the instrument. So do you constantly have all the weapons in your hands? All the weapons means all the powers. If even one weapon or power is missing, or if there is weakness in one power, would such a soul be called ever ready? Just as the Father is ever ready, that is, He is full of all powers. Are you following the Father in the same way? At the present time, such a group of ever ready souls who cooperate with the Father is needed. Let's underline the statement and let's take this as a homework for us to check the whole day how we are operating. At the present time, such a group of ever ready souls who cooperate with the Father is needed. Each group definitely has one or another sign of speciality. So, what is the sign of such a group who is ever ready? So, while we are reading the further part of the Murli, let's reflect what is the gap that I see for myself here. Do you know it? You must have seen the sign of the physical military. Each group has its own medal. What is the medal of this spiritual military, this ever ready group? Is it this physical badge? So, in the Lokik form, our badge is the weapon that we have that services the world out. But today, Baba is talking about not our physical badge, not just our physical badge. He's further talking about the signs and our own self stage through which we do the spiritual service. This is an easy means. What is an easy means? The badge that we wear is an easy means of service, and it is something that gives you constant company, but the medal or sign of the first group is the rosary of victory. Always being in the awareness that I am a part of a group which is victorious. First is the ever ready group of those who are to be threaded in the rosary of victory. They constantly have the rosary of victory around themselves with faith and intoxication, nishchay or nasha. To be constantly victorious is the first sign of the rosary. In the same way, children who are ever ready will be constantly decorated with this awareness. The second sign is that they will always be detached observer wearing the armor of constant companions. There are two beautiful Hindi words that Baba has used in a lot of Murlis, being Sakshi and Sathi. The second sign is that they will always be detached observers wearing the armor of constant companions. All the powers of those who are ever ready will be companions and officers who accept their orders. As soon as they receive an order, all the powers will say, "Yes, my lord." Their foreheads will be visibly sparkling constantly with the awareness of the soul. That is, the jewel on the forehead will visibly be sparkling. On the basis of having spiritual light and might, their eyes will become instruments to show all souls the path to liberation and liberation in life. Their smiling faces will enable others to forget their sorrows and cheer them up in a second. Are you such an ever-ready group with a rosary of victory around the neck? Or do you continue to ask for other methods from others? Or do you set aside your weapons and then beg for weapons when you need them? Give me this power. Give me this cooperation. Let me have this support. Do you ask for all of these things? Baba is asking us today. Even to have this thought is like begging. How could such a beggar become a great donor or a bestower of blessings? What can a beggar give to a beggar? You can only give what you have. That's the saying, and that's what Baba is telling here. What can a beggar give to a beggar? Look at yourself and check whether you have become worthy to become part of the ever-ready group. It should not be that you are given an order for one thing, but something else happens in practice. You are not weak to this extent, are you? Even now, you still have a chance to gallop ahead. You can still transform yourselves into any group you want. However, after some time, even the chance to gallop will finish, and to whatever extent each of you have made effort, so you will remain at that point. Then, no matter how many applications you make, they will not be granted, but you will instead be under some compulsion. This is why Bab Dada is still warning you in advance, so that those who come later do not have any complaints for the Father. Therefore, know the importance of every second and every thought and make yourself great. Therefore, know the importance of every second and every thought and make yourself great. Use the power to recognize for the self and for service, for only then will you be able to finish all your own weaknesses and make others full according to their desires and become a great donor and a bestower of blessings. So what is the method Baba is giving us today to become a great donor and a bestower of blessings? He is asking us to recognize for the self and for the service, for only then what to recognize? The powers, and use those powers to recognize the self and for the service, for only then will you be able to finish all your own weaknesses and make others full according to their desires and become a great donor and a bestower of blessings. Acha, to those who constantly have positive thoughts and who always maintain positive thinking, to those who fulfill the desires of others, to those who constantly give the light of knowledge to all souls through the jewel on their foreheads, and to the children who are constantly lighthouses and might houses, and who cooperates with the Father, Bab Dada's love, remembrance, good night, and namaste. So this Murli that day was read in the night. So Baba is giving us remembrance, love, and says good night. Our love and remembrance to Bab-Dada. Om Shanti. Let's take a few moments to reflect on the points of the Murli, and then we can unmute and share. You can unmute and share the reflection of today's Murli and your takeaways. Om Shanti. For me personally, while I was reading this Murli, my takeaways from today's Murli is to be present each second and be ready with all that has been required at that moment to be of service and contribute while I'm doing any task, any deed in my daily performance, both at Lokik and Alokik services. Would anybody like to reflect on what are the various signs of an ever-ready soul that Baba is talking today in the Murli?
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
First of all, after reading the Murli, I just could get two Swaman in my mind. I am a cooperative soul, Sayogi Atma, and I am a special soul. Because throughout the Murli, Baba is actually asking us an action plan for transformation. And the first transformation which I liked is transforming the circumstances of souls who are under the influence of their circumstance. See, leave alone my own circumstances, my own situations, my own external influences and all. But the weapons which I need to transform the circumstances of souls who are under the influence of their circumstance. As you were reading, I do not know why So much was there. Baba was saying master, creator, divine vision and all. But why was that thing striking me? That's why I was just churning when you were reading. So I would like to go into deeper into that. How do I? So for that, I know two things: cooperation, qualities and all, merciful, master, almighty, authority, that was, but the power of cooperation. This is the first thing. That's what I was dwelling on, that and trying to churn to come out. What should I do?
Yeah, that's a reflection point. And regarding the same, while I was reading this Murli, what I was getting for myself is Baba is talking about today, amongst various other signs, he speaks about being Sakshi and Sati, being a detached observer, and being always in the company of Bab Dada. And can I be that uh, and cooperate myself and others at the same point in time? Because if something which I am dealing in, if I am not able to be, set myself in the state of being a detached observer, or at the same point of time being in the company of Bab Dada, then I get out of the seat of self-respect and get disturbed. So this is something which I'm taking on to practice being an ever-ready cooperative souls, to the area that you spoke about. How do I transform the circumstances of others' circumstances? Any other reflections from others?
Can you
Om
give a
Shanti.
practical approach to this, Raki sister?
Can you repeat that? Diljaben, I missed your question. Can you repeat that?
A practical approach to this transforming, because I'm not able to get. I'm trying to find how will I change people's circumstances. You said observer. Can you just give me a small pointer for it, please?
Would anybody like to share their experiences on this?
Om Shanti. I joined a little late today, but whatever I heard from the today's Murli is, and the churning which happened so far is about that power to cooperate, how to bring it practically. Starts with the what, remember Swami Bhai had given us the 8 powers ka explanation, the correct sequence, and the final power is the power to cooperate, and then we become Bap Saman and we get the blessings from others, and we become others means from Baba, from self, from Baba, from Parivar, and from the everyone from the world family. So then we become Bap Saman. So start from the withdraw, power to withdraw, and so that sequence, power to pack up, means emphasize on the particular virtue which are of importance to me, which is my specialty. I I keep them in a briefcase. The important things. I always keep them immersed, and then automatically the power to tolerate, when I'm in company of Baba, I can tolerate the fluctuating situations outside, and then power to accommodate, because I am powerful, so I can accommodate others, and then I have the power to discriminate, to discern what is right, what is real, what is unreal. Then automatically the power to decide, because I have various options, which one is the best for me in the given situation, which one is real. And then power to face automatically comes. I can face any situation by being Sakshi, because being Sakshi also needs power. To become detached needs a lot of power. And thereafter, I can cooperate with others. This churning was happening in Amrit Vela also today. And this is a practical, very practical wheel which Baba has given us, the correct sequence, and then using them practically. Om Shanti.
Thank you, brother, for sharing. Grijaben, did you get the answer there?
No, exactly not, because I know weapons are there, pure wishes are there. If you take practically, that is what is the main thing. I am not able to, whatever service I'm doing, even in the family or anything, everyone have got their circumstance. And Baba is asking about transformation. So maybe some of us have it, or I don't know, I'm not able to. Cooperation, speciality, okay, weapons, all that is there. But to transform means it's really showing them the path. Of course, I know lighthouse, might house, all that is there. Show them the path. Because being just detached it's just giving me a balcony view. But transformation.
There's this
Just to
point that Usha Ben has put
transformation.
across. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay, basically transformation is basically to change the form at any given moment. I need to change my form from body consciousness to soul consciousness, and that the important prerequisite for transformation is awareness. Who am I? Who am I? Keep asking these questions. It's a very pertinent question. Who am I and who is mine? The moment I get to the very bottommost, the bedrock of the sea, ocean, that who am I can feel you can start feeling, and automatically the transformation, you get to a very high frequency energy, high frequency, where you are master, almighty authority. That's what is a transformation. There's nothing physical will happen in a moment, then but it all starts from the seed stage, from inside, where the feelings, attitude, vision, everything transforms. The moment the awareness is there, who am I? And then infinite times in Kalp, so many infinite yugas, I am a master almighty authority, and I am Baba's child, and Baba in all relationship is with me. So I wanted to share this. Om Shanti. It starts with the awareness.
Yes, brother. As you said, what awareness? Awareness is about soul consciousness, and how practically it works for me, Grijaben, to answer your question is, can I free myself from attachments of any kind or expectations? Okay, there are certain things, the circumstances of the other soul that I wish to transform. That is what I wish to transform. I'm expecting that to happen. But if it is not happening the way I'm expecting it to happen, can I keep giving good wishes and blessings? And this is what Usha Ben has also mentioned in the chat box today, that keep giving good wishes and blessings to soul. Okay. And free myself from getting attached to that expectation. Yes, it will evolve, it will transform. And as Baba always says, have faith in self, faith in the family, faith in Almighty, and faith in Drama. Can I bring that consciousness along with being soul conscious, and then stabilize and then be there as a detached observer, rather than getting myself entangled in the circumstances? It's very simple. If somebody is crying and I'm also crying with the other person, I will not be able to support that other person. So that's something which works for me. Hope that gives you some answer to it, or if you have any further queries on this, to let us know.
I just got 2 pointers when you said, sister. That's why I said, when you listen, something turns on your mind. That one word which you said, expectation. Now I got, like as if a thing, you gave the example of crying. When you see somebody crying, if I'm looking for a transformation, that person now should remove the tissues and should start laughing, ha, 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 ha. If I'm expecting that kind of transformation, means I should have proper catalytic agent for that to make him ready laugh. So I should not look for such kind of magical kind of thing. I should also know even that person, that thing is going through a same phase which I had gone through before I could recognize my circumstances. I think that expectation of the degree of transformation is what doesn't allow me to transform. That example of your crying when you said, I said, yeah, okay, you want to make him into a laughing baby. It's not possible. You have to give loads of gripe water and all. So I think that's the point I should keep in mind, you know. I am not Shiv Baba that he comes and places his hand on my head and magic, everything takes place. Even I am a Purusharthi. I think that's the answer I have to got. As a teacher expects too much from a transformation in a children without any inputs, without realizing what are the handicaps of that other person. Thank you, sister. It gave me some room for churning.
And while you were sharing that, what I was also getting present to was, yes, dropping expectation is there, but in the process, can I be compassionate? Because that's what you mentioned, right? Can I understand the other person's space, what the person is going through? So being in the state of a detached observer, being in the companion of Almighty, being in the state of being a companion of an Almighty, and following the power of being a compassionate soul at that point in time would support or give power to the other person. Maybe being compassionate would be a lift with which I can support the other soul to come out of the circumstances.
Om Shanti, sister. I think the challenge is to be detached yet loving. Means we are getting detached, but then the well-wishings, the Shubhavna, Shubhamna has to constantly be there for the other souls. I am detached, but yet loving. So that is the thing which requires power. Because if we are detached, then we, as you said, compassion also has to be there, empathy has to be there. If I don't feel the other soul's sorrow, means feel but remaining detached, so it should not influence my inner stage. My sthiti should not be affected, and then only I'll be able to give the solution or the well wishings or the benevolent feelings, wishes for the other soul. I can envision the Sampurn Swarup of the other souls. So that will happen only when I have the power, and the power has to be generated through awareness and remembrance. Once the power is generated, we can do whatever we want. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Yes, Karthik sister, you have unmuted. Sister Kartika. Okay, Yogita Ben, you had raised your hand some time back. Would you like to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to say the same point that you mentioned, but now I have another point right now when Brother Om mentioned that there is a challenge in being loving and being detached at the time. Just to add one more point to that, uh, I think it's not. I think it's less of a challenge, and because detachment is itself love. So why sometimes we, in fact, even in my situations as well, sometimes we feel that it is a bit challenge because detachment, this word itself seems like being cold or not being sensitive for others. But detachment is actually the more sensitivity. Is actually give the power to understand the situation or to understand the because the one word brother says that if I cannot feel, in fact we shouldn't be feeling others pains. We just need to understand, because when we get into the feeling pattern, it means we are getting stuck into their situation. But if we are understanding, just by being detached, by just seeing it, then only we'll be able to give the power. Because if we'll get sucked into their situation or their feeling, then we will not be able to. The example you give of crying, that was the apt example for this journey. Because when we sit crying with them, then we will not be able to make them come out of it. So I think detachment is uh, it's a big challenge, maybe sometimes in some situations, but I personally think mostly detachment is itself the love. So we just need that awareness, and that, just like brother said, that awareness will come with the remembrance. So we just need that awareness that it's not the challenge, but it is the love. Detachment is itself the love, and then only we'll be able to help others to come out of the situations. Thank you.
Well said, sister. What I was getting here is, while we speak about detachment, let's not mix detachment with being indifferent. So, in a very gross sense, what we take detachment is, in Hindi we simply say, "Mujhe kya pada hai," let me be off this. Okay. But detachment is not that. Detachment is like, I have compassion. I'm free from the expectations that I have from that other soul in whatever way. And I am standing unconditionally for supporting that soul in my capacity. So that itself will bring the concept of, bring or make me be standing in love and compassion for the other soul. So that's what was my reflection while you were sharing, that detachment is different than being indifferent. And most of the time we mix with these two things.
Sister Kartika, sister wanted to share something. Maybe
Yeah, she had unmuted
Kartika.
herself. We did invite her. Kartika sister, would you unmute yourself and share? She's still muted. We'll wait for her. Meantime, there's a message from um, a soul which is by the name of Light. A lot of yoga bal is required to transform the self and others. Correct. No, that's where we speak about antarmukta, being in silence, and uh, keep on introspecting and reflecting and building that power so that we can transform that power to others. Thanks for sharing that.
Raki sister, there was the answer, if you see, is given at the end of the Murli. That's why I was just going through it. Baba says, recognize. That word, even when you were saying to underline that sentence, recognize the self, know the importance of every second, every thought. So that means first I have to recognize my own weakness, which is what I had a problem. I was looking for too much change in the others. So once I'm able, I'm honest with myself, I recognize my weakness, I can pinpoint, then I can detach, then I can go down and offer myself to that person with full attention and concentration, which Baba says over here. I think that's the whole process of transformation. But first, it needs the power of recognizing. And it's such a mass thing, what I recognize, it was just given at the end of the Murli, so I thought I should share.
And one of the practical ways in recognizing self weakness is where we have this practice of writing a letter or speaking to Baba, having a conversation with Baba one to one, and putting across whatever is the weakness that I have as a soul. Like, I do practice this whenever I am feeling low. The first thing which I do is I will go to the center, sit in Baba's room, and speak out my heart to Baba. And that really works for me. I feel very light, and then I'm ready to take the next step that's been required to be taken at that given point in time. So whether I write it down or I speak to Baba, whatever works. For me, it's usually speaking more that works than writing down. And then we have this practice of writing a letter to Baba. So there are a few practices which allows us to recognize our own self, and something that we can't speak to anyone in this world can speak with Baba, because I know he's unconditionally listening to me.
Om Shanti, just a reflection. When I recently gone to Madhuban, there one brother shared this thing, Krishna Bhaiji, I think. He shared a wonderful thing like in an electrical circuit, we have various components, switch, light, and all this. There is a component called transformer. Transformer, we would have heard about this, to which there is a step down transformer as well as step up transformers, which convert the electricity, the voltage, either up or down. So he was sharing this key, our endeavor should be to become a transformer. First transform our own self, and then transform others through the power of giving first we take the current and then suit it to the voltage which is required by the consumer, the end user, and then supply that voltage uninterrupted manner. So that point reflection I just came, that could be that once we bring in awareness, we are a transformer, we are a world transformer. In the same practical manner where this electrical gadget, this device functions, it always receives the power, stores the power, and then gives to as per the correct voltage to others. Om Shanti.
Right. Yeah, and that's where we say self-transformation is the medium for world transformation. And in
Yes.
today's Murli, if we look at it, Baba speaks about what is the form of spiritual service. And then he mentions that your badge is an easy method of spiritual service, but he goes deeper today to explaining us it's not just your badge that can serve, but the deeper level in which you can serve the world is through your sthiti, through your stage. And then he goes on
Exactly.
explaining
Yeah.
further on, right, chehre chalan, right from your face to your eyes to your inner self, how does it shows up?
And
And
all that is, yes, and that the vision, it all will, our chehra ka bhav will depend on what vision I am having of my own self first. Who am I? By that vision, that what image I hold at this moment of my own self. And
right,
then that reflects to others also. When I meet others, automatically they will have that photocopy. Immediately, they will have that picture downloaded in their memory. Oh, of the picture which I am envisioning for myself. That's why Baba always emphasizes on awareness for the stage, to create the stage,
yes.
Swaman and all this.
And as
So
we see this further, as you're talking about, as I see myself is the way the world will see me. So whatever I face across or I see across is a reflection of my own self. It's
absolutely,
mirror.
absolutely. My mind is a kind of mirror which others are also looking at that through various gestures or through there are various symbols, various
Yes.
telltale indicators. They will
So
tell the entire story.
yes.
What script I am right now running inside. That
Yeah. And
script will
therefore, as you know, we can actually figure out people who we are dealing on everyday basis. We'll figure out what is the emotion the person is going through. Just
absolutely.
seeing them.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you. Yogita Ben, you unmuted yourself. Would you like to share?
No, actually, so it was just by mistake. Sorry.
Okay. One last sharing before we move on to meditation. Would anyone like to share? There's a question from Balvinder's sister. She's saying, I have been failing repeatedly, staying in soul consciousness and seeing others as soul. in the second step, how can I help myself? Any reflections that anyone would like to share with regards to this question?
Just one thought I thought, I don't know why should I make an effort to become what I'm really, because I have been always trying to do what I'm not. But if I just think this is what I am, but I'm trying to put on a costume of what I'm not, then it's going to be I become, I don't become. I know the soul consciousness. That is why Baba said the first lesson in the course is the foundation. It is not an easy thing. Every other lesson is just K for knowledge. But that first lesson, soul, conscious as a soul is there. But this one awareness that this is my costume, this is my costume. And as Brahma Baba, I remember he used to write everywhere, I'm a soul, I'm a soul, I'm a soul, Yashoda's a soul, Yashoda's a soul, Yashoda's a soul. So if every time a kind of that, but otherwise I think it is just a practice of a thought. But as she says, we all go through that.
Yes, sister. And that's what even Purushottam brother has mentioned, constant practice. So adding on to what Girjaben said and the answer that Purushottam brother has mentioned, to the constant practice and catching myself, as we rightly said, Sister rightly said, of being aware, being agile about this. I may fall, that's fine. But instead of getting into that thought of I am failing, I tell myself that I am recognizing that I have stopped myself here, or I am getting stopped by seeing others or seeing myself or being in body conscious space. That's fine. That's okay. That's going to be a part of my journey. I will evolve in the process. That's one way that works for me. And I'm telling you, 99 out of 100 times I have fallen. It may have now gone to maybe 96 out of 100 times. It's fine. But not getting into that state of beating up myself, instead catching up and moving ahead and keep on practicing. That is going to be the only answer to uh, help myself to be in this soul conscious state.
One more point I would like to add here. To keep on practicing is definitely the main thing that we would do. We should do, in fact. But another thing is, whatever my thoughts, how they are getting created. If I know what is the uh, raw material of my thoughts, because every time when I'm creating a thought, it has something which is, like you can say, information, the knowledge that I have, or the information that I get from outside world, because every thought that I'm creating is based on such informations, belief system that I have, and few experiences of my own self, and sometimes I also get into the experiences of other people. So these basic raw material, if I'm working on that, means because that's the only way, because that is why Baba is uh, giving this Murli or this knowledge every day. So when we are doing things on everyday basis, definitely there is one point where we are able to transform, or we are able to change our thought process. So once thought process get that change, get that power, then it will be a little easy, or it will become natural to feel or to understand, yes, I'm a soul. So it's basically what thoughts I'm creating and what is the raw material behind my thoughts. That is something I need to check, and most probably I guess it's information that we collect from the world, outside world, and it's our own knowledge. So we need to come out of that information circle, because we know definitely we all are doing that, but sometimes we kind of get drifted over there. So need to work on that, and mostly the routine that Baba has set, that absolutely perfect routine, because every day we are doing, and it is definitely because it's just like a habit. Once we are doing it every day, then we are definitely going to go to that point. So you just need to think on the thought process, how it works, and then because then everything will be fine. So that's not a big deal. Just a bit challenging sometimes. You need to work. That's it. With awareness.
Right. And while you were sharing, there has been a conversation going on between Balwinder's sister and Girija Ben, which is almost to the similar line, where Balwinder's sister has mentioned that she gets disappointed, if I have to give the star of her conversation, when she feels that she's failing all the time. And Girija Ben says that keep on playing in the awareness of who I am. I'm a soul. I'm a soul. Everybody around me is like a soul. And our soul, not like a soul, they are soul. And this is the practice that Bab Dada did when in his Sakar form, that he's been writing everywhere. I am a soul. His own wife, Yashoda, is a soul. His children are soul. So that's going to be a continuous effort. Practice, 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 and keep on playing as a game like a child, because a child never get attached to the results of the game, but is happy playing the game.
And also never get tired of the game. So we
Yes,
will also not
yes,
get tired of that game.
yeah. So that zeal and enthusiasm is on all the time, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
I hope that Balwinder Ben, that answers your question.
Om Shanti, just adding one reflection where we used to play a game of bit two. I don't know if you are aware or not, that pyramid kind of, where the bottommost stone and then there is a smaller stone on top of that, and the
Yeah,
smaller
we
and
used to call them as call it as Lagori,
yeah,
if I can recollect.
yeah,
Correct?
yeah. If we can relate to this game, definitely the bottommost one is the most stable, and it carries all the other stones pieces
Correct.
stay in a stable condition. So the bottommost one is I'm a soul. Soul
Yes.
consciousness is the bedrock of all the other things. Everything comes later. Hierarchy, that's the most strongest, most powerful awareness is I am a soul, and I am a child of Baba, the Nirakar, incorporeal. And everything, my body, everything comes later. Even my thought comes later. Om Shanti.
Yes. Om Shanti. So let's be in silence and reflect on all that we churned, powerful churnings that all of us have shared, and what Baba has reflected in today's Murli to be an ever ready soul. So I'll play a small piece of music and let's reflect for our own self in silence. Om Shanti. Have a wonderful day and be in the intoxication of spiritually ever ready soul for service all the time. See you tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
Thank you. Om Shanti.